If you're the parent of a rising senior and you've already found yourself saying some version of you need to start thinking about college applications and it didn't land the way you hoped, then this video is for you. Here's what I've seen. The families that go into application mode the most stressed, it is not because their kids are the least prepared. Instead, they are the ones where the parent and the student spent the summer in a cycle of reminders and shutdowns. By the time fall starts, the relationship is tense, the student is reactive, and no one is doing their best work. This cycle is completely preventable, and it starts with one conversation. Hi there! If you're new here, my name is Presh, and I started Executive Function Tutors, where we coach students to feel more confident and less overwhelmed with school and the responsibilities that come with it. Today, I'm going to walk you through why the nagging cycle starts, how to stop it before it gets going, and the one thing you can do this summer that will set your whole family up for a much calmer fall. By the end, you'll have a concrete approach for starting the college application conversation with your rising senior in a way that actually lands. Let's jump into it. Why the nagging cycle starts. When parents tell me their student isn't doing anything about college apps, the first thing I ask is, who is keeping track of the deadlines? And almost every time, the answer is the parent. Here's what that does. When a parent is tracking the deadlines, sending the reminders, and following up on the personal statement and short essays, even with the best intentions, it signals to the student's brain that the parent owns the outcome, not the student. And when the student doesn't own the outcome, their brain disengages, not out of laziness, but out of a completely natural psychological response to not feeling in control of something. So the conflict isn't really about college applications, it's about ownership. And the fix is not to remind less or remind more, it's to shift who the process belongs to. So the most effective thing you can do in the first week of summer is to sit down with your student and have one intentional conversation, not a lecture or reminder, a real conversation where you are genuinely curious about where they are and what they need from you. Here's how to set it up. Tone. Come into it with calm and lead with curiosity. Frame this as an opportunity to get on the same page proactively before things feel rushed. Be upfront that your goal is to put them in the driver's seat, that you're not there to manage the process. Instead, you're there to understand how you can actually help without it feeling like pressure. Environment. Pick a low pressure time. Think family dinner, a car ride, an evening when they're not in the middle of an activity, or winding down from time with friends. This should feel like a conversation and not an ambush. When you have the right environment and you're feeling calm and curious, then ask these 4 questions in this order. Question 1. What do you already know about the college application process? You want to start here because this assumes they know something, which builds confidence instead of spotlighting everything they haven't done yet. Their answer will exactly tell you what the gap may be. Question 2. What feels most unclear or overwhelming about it right now? You're not asking what they've done wrong, you're asking what they need. When they answer, just listen. Don't jump in to fix it, just listen and receive it. Question 3. If summer went really well, what would you have finished before school starts? This is the most important question. When your student defines success in their own words, that becomes the shared goal, not because you gave it to them, and this is where real buy-in really comes from. Question 4. What kind of support from me would actually be helpful, and what would feel like too much? This question resets the whole dynamic. Now you're letting your student define your role on their own terms. Whatever they say becomes your shared structure for the rest of the summer. I've put all of this into a free downloadable guide that's linked in the description below. So grab a copy before you have this check-in. Having that check-in is the first step. After that, give them 2 weeks before you change anything up. This means that you don't check in the next day, you give them time and you let your student move at their own pace and see what happens. If after 2 weeks nothing has changed, meaning your student still hasn't done any research, still hasn't started an outline, still seems completely disengaged, then That's not a motivation problem. That's a structure problem. And the way to address a structure problem is to add structure. Surprise, surprise! That's when it helps to revisit your first conversation and put it in paper. This should have what your students' goals are, what your role is, and how often you'll check in, and what done enough by August specifically looks like for your family. I have a family agreement template for exactly that purpose, also linked in the description below. When outside support makes sense. When you've had the conversation, you've given it 2 weeks, and your student is still stuck, that's exactly when outside support makes the most sense. We run a college-ready summer program at EF Tutors designed specifically for rising seniors who need someone other than their parent helping them move through this process. It's an 8-week, one-on-one remote program where we work directly with your student on their college list, their essays, and the systems they need to carry them through the college application process. Check out the description for more info on that. So the nagging cycle isn't inevitable. It starts because no one set clear expectations before summer started, and it ends the same way, with one honest conversation where your student gets to tell you what they actually need. If you found this helpful, then check out my next video on the step-by-step guide that rising seniors can use to prepare for their college applications this summer. It's simple with free resources they can actually use, so it doesn't feel like they're starting from scratch. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Peace!